Young and restless Sharon is on a collision course with big trouble, and once again the past as her current situation races toward a climax that will see her hit rock bottom. But she won't be alone. Sharon's bipolar relapse has brought one blast from the past after another, most of them not good. At the forefront of her issues is anger and pain buried over the years since her daughter Cassie died in a tragic car wreck. Daniel's presence in Genoa City has served as an aggravating factor, a persistent reminder of the events of that fateful night. Add a guilty conscience over taking the life of her stalker, Cameron, into the mix, along with her going off of her meds, and you have a recipe for disaster. Faith and Lucy crossing paths, rather than creating peace, instead created more chaos. The similarities between their crash and the one that killed Cassie were startling, and the incident couldn't have come at a worse time in Sharon's personal crisis. Not only has she been seeing and talking to her late daughter, but she's entertaining the man she murdered in her mind and her living room. Cameron, of course, is representative of the anger and pain that is causing Sharon to act out with increasingly volatile behavior. Behavior that her loved ones can no longer ignore after some very public outbursts. All of this has led to Nick formulating a downright shocking plan to help Sharon, but we fear it will be too little, too late, as Sharon and the storyline appear to be careening towards certain disaster. While it seems obvious she is blaming Lucy for the accident that landed Faith in the hospital, she has plenty of ire to go around. If looks could kill, Daniel and his lady love, Heather, would both be pushing up daisies. And it doesn't help that Daniel is the offspring of her lifelong rival Phyllis. Sharon was already in a bad place when Phyllis showed up at the hospital. As if her presence wasn't irksome enough, Sharon witnessed her sharing a close moment with Nick in the corridor. Given that Sharon's mental state has had her idealizing a reunion with Nick and fantasizing about kissing him, this didn't help matters. It was Cassie's crush on Daniel that led to the tragic circumstances of her death, and Nick's crush on Phyllis that further wrecked Sharon's world. In her mind, Sharon is looking back and seeking to place blame, which is almost certainly going to fall on Phyllis. We could already see the gears turning. If the redhead had never turned up in her life with her son in tow, none of this would have happened. Considering that Sharon's story seems to be headed toward its peak just as her portrayer, Sharon Case, will celebrate her 30th anniversary on Young and Restless, it's a no-brainer that the story would culminate with yet another nod to the past, a classic clash between Sharon and Phyllis. There's been plenty of speculation that Sharon, in her unmedicated and volatile state, will hurt someone. This is not a stretch given her track record whilst in crisis, which includes burning down the Newman Ranch and leaving Phyllis at the bottom of a stairwell in a coma after a confrontation. Cameron is egging the blonde on with, "We both know who's to blame," and all signs point to her turning on either Daniel or Phyllis. We believe it will be the latter. Why? What could be better than revisiting Sharon and Phyllis' iconic rivalry as part of her upcoming anniversary? Especially given that Michelle Stafford's 30th anniversary will also be upon us in October. Just imagine the Goldman of flashbacks we might get to see from the soporific rivalry that spanned decades and had Young and Restless fans in a perpetual tizzy taking sides. Will Sharon and Phyllis clash on a set of stairs again? Well, that remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, when Sharon spirals to rock bottom, she won't be going alone.